The Competition Commission has warned that consumers still face a tough climate, some actually looking for alternative food items that are now affordable. The Commission has found that canned pilchard is one of those products that are being used as a cheaper protein option. Business reporter Ntokozo Khumalo spoke to Commission economist Kagiso Zwane to explain the findings of the latest Essential Food Prices Monitoring Report.
More and more South Africans are turning to canned pilchards in order to find more affordable sources of protein as the price of basic food items continue to skyrocket, and that's according to the latest findings out of the Competition Commission's Essential Food Price Monitoring Reports. And to give us some more details around that, I am now joined by Kagiso Zwane, who is an economist with the Commission. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now, I'm one of those consumers turning to canned pilchards, but talk us through some of those findings out of this report when it comes to essential food prices.
So that is one of the major findings, and we observe this really through looking at what the major producers of canned fish were reporting in their results, and almost consistently across the board they reported that volumes have increased as consumers have looked for cheaper alternatives. And this is something that's to be expected. Of course, you want to meet your nutritional needs, but when you can't afford something else, you go find an alternative, and this is one of them. Throughout the report, we note that food inflation is coming down considerably from where it was last year. It's come down from, I think, a peak of 14% to now sitting at the 5% mark, which is encouraging because it says that while prices are still increasing, they are increasing at a much lower rate. So affordability in the next month or so, depending on various factors, is probably going to be a bit better than it was in the last year. So we continue to watch what's happening across our major baskets that we track. That includes sunflower, maize meal, bread. Eggs is very important now following the avian flu crisis, as well as the price of IQF chicken.
And now, Kagiso, when we do see that, improvement when it comes to affordability, it seems as if it's for just 1 month, prices go back up again another month or two. As we're seeing consumers then turning to canned pilchard, what is the risk of them seeing price increases in the near future?
Look, the food market is a very dynamic space in terms of pricing. We saw that when something happens, say in Ukraine, the price of sunflower oil goes up. If something happens like the avian flu outbreak, the price of eggs goes up. So it is a constant risk that there are shocks that might come into the system and send price going up. Right now for canned pilchards, I'm not aware of any indicators that something like that might happen, but that's, of course, we can't tell the future. There's no way of knowing what might happen in the next 6 months to a year, which is why this work is so important, because it at least helps consumers understand what is driving what they're seeing on the shelves, even though it might not be something that they like to live with. But when we open up the transparency and show the different points in the value chain, consumers can get a better idea of what is actually driving the prices that they are paying.
And Kagiso, in the report that was released late last year, the finger was really pointed at retailers for also helping push that price up. This year, does the Commission then have those teeth to actually go after in the value chain where we are seeing those prices being driven up?
The Commission does have the ability to launch investigations wherever it finds concerns. We have done it in the past, and if there are concerns that we think are worthwhile to launch an investigation on, we will certainly do that. There's nothing that prevents us from doing that based on the findings of any complaints that we investigate or even publicly available data. And we will continue the scanning to see if there are instances where it calls for a fuller investigation, where we actually then engage directly with market participants, whether they are retailers, producers of major foods, or even intermediaries that are involved in getting food from the farm gate to the retail shelf or from the factory gate to the retail shelf.
So thank you so much for giving us those insights. And of course, that full report is available for consumers on the Competition Commission's website if they do want to read through that information and see where they are likely to perhaps see some food price increases, but also maybe where they can get those bargains and see some drops in prices. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Pretoria.